on this week's cast, we're going to be talking about the E3 schedule, what you're excited for, what we think will be duds, all that jazz. We're also going to be talking about Game of Thrones odds are out there on who's going to be sitting on the Iron Throne, as well as some mix-ups and shakeups that are going on over at LucasFilms and DC Entertainment. So stick around, jump in the chat room, comment on the video, and have some fun. It's Mess 5150 here with MaliceCast Season 2, Episode 22. We're all twos. Here to talk all things nerd with you guys. So thanks for joining us. On the cast today, I have with me Beacon. Hello,
What
sir.
Up? What up, what up, what up?
How goes it?
Living the dream. Not sure whose dream it is yet, but I'm living it. Do robots dream of electric sheep? Yeah, do they? I don't know.
Also with us, we have Igor. Igor, how goes it, sir?
Well, I can't figure out another country to offend, so shout out to Brazil.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and Sonamaku's in the chat room, so welcome. And Jack Malice, yes, and Take Two. That's what happened before.
Hello to Maribon in the chat room as well.
Yes, two members of our great Comics for All cast, which we have one of the members here.
Is it just
in iTunes? If you're not listening to
full Hodor?
Yeah,
I went full Hodor.
You did for a moment there.
Yeah.
I have an idea why. Okay, we did this once before where I forgot to plug in the right cord that would give me more power. More power!
Jeez.
I'm getting it all I can. Cotton, I can't get it anymore.
need new dilithium crystals.
Yeah.
We're off
And
the rails. Also joining us on the
take
cast.
two, take three, take four.
Yes. Last but not least on the cast with us this week is IC Zorro. How goes it, sir?
Fantastic. Although Beacon's intro makes me want to get just a collection of the Norm sayings from Cheers. Like, how's it going, Norm? It's like, yeah, you know, women, can't live with them. Pass the beer nuts.
Yes, please.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah. So
that's as awkward as possible a segue to say, hey, she's death proof. I didn't get to see if you were around last week. Hello, welcome. If you are there, this week. She's a new friend we made on Twitter.
If she's in there, awesome. Or if he's in there, he, I don't know. Welcome. Yes.
I'm feeling literal. I hope you'll forgive me.
Okay, not a problem.
Not you, Wes, our new viewers.
Yes. Okay, so as we do on this cast, we like to talk all things nerd, things that are going on in nerd news and geek news all over the stratosphere. Along with that, we like to talk about what we've been geeking out on for the previous week. If you are watching here live in the chat room, please drop a message in the chat room letting us know what you've been geeking out on for the week. With that, I'm going to go right over to Beacon since we didn't see him last week and ask him what he's been geeking out on lately.
Movies. Catching up on movies. We just recorded Quest for 100 episode 7. Was that last night? That was Wednesday night. 2 nights ago. And we also recorded episode 8. So we went back to back, and we have Mess is going to make a special guest appearance. So look for that to drop here this week.
I apologize for what I did to that cast. It's just
no, it was amazing. It was awesome. So we got really far behind, so I had to watch a bunch of
Hodor.
I think I watched like 7 movies in about 9 days, something like that. So
wow.
I hit the theaters hard to catch up.
Nice. The thing's going all kinds of wacky on me. Okay. What have you been geeking out on, Igor?
Well, there's a couple of launches that got kind of popular, along with Batman's wedding, as many folks who don't even regularly read comics know. There's a little green dude who a few people might know, who officially came back.
Little
because Bruce Banner
no longer
is just a
dead?
guy. Oh no, Bruce Banner can die. You put a gun to his head, pull the trigger, he'll just die. But then when night falls, the Hulk will not, and the Hulk will remember.
Huh.
It's literally the Hulk being relaunched as a horror title, like he
Nice.
originally was for like the first 12 issues before he just did a abrupt left turn into superherodom.
Where Hulk? Kind
Yeah,
of.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Marvel even set up a timeline to show off that no, we're not actually retconning. We're just putting a name on it. They did a full timeline of every time where he just flat out died.
Huh,
Yeah.
interesting. So
It's really cool.
basically the
And
Hulk's invincible then, because if you just kill off Bruce Banner, Hulk will come back later.
That's words fail in the best ways. And get the Alex Ross cover. That's the one I'm pimping out here on the visual for everybody who can't see the audio.
He is an amazing artist. Alex Ross is, yes. Awesome. No, it's always good to see new and interesting things going on in comic books. I'm still reading old comic books because I read Marvel Unlimited like crazy, and I'm back in 1966 right now reading them. So,
dude, look for the Mad Hulk storyline, the one from the 80s. That was awesome.
I'll come across it
It's
at
in
some point. I have been reading. It's very interesting to read and see Hulk be articulate even at the beginning when you were thinking that all he did was Hulk smash, but he's like having conversations and stuff. And I'm like, no, when does it come along that he does Hulk smash and then he becomes the smart Hulk again later? Because I remember Mr. Fix-It, which was the smart Hulk. But moving on, that's for all the really, really nerdy nerds. Zora, what you been geeking out on?
Well, I've been reading comics too. I've finally progressed through the old main Deadpool chronology, and I'm up to Uncanny X-Force, where they're fighting against Apocalypse. After having read nothing but Deadpool for like the last month or so, it's really kind of a change of pace. And then I pretty much binged the entirety so far up to date with The Handmaid's Tale. That show is intense.
That I can't get past. That's a hell of a pairing right there, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, my brain hasn't been twisted at all recently.
No, not enough anyway.
Godspeed.
Jack Malice has been geeking out on Warhammer 40K at a new gaming place he found locally there. It's called Gaming on Grand. And of course, he's been playing a lot of Blood Bowl as well, starting a new mini league there tomorrow. So shout out to Gaming on Grand, a great new gaming shop that Mr. Jack Malice has been free.
Yeah, I know our Masonic Vader goes over there as well, and
right on.
A great shop to go to. So
Very cool.
always support your local gaming and comic shops. They get the stuff out there for you so that you can geek out. So
Speaking of, this is unprepared, but there was a recent news article that GameStop is going to be carrying comics. Did you see that?
yeah.
Wonder what your opinion is on that.
I saw a great little mention of it from our friend Max from Turbo Comics, where he said it was more of just supporting Diamond. That's really what they're going to be doing, is carrying more of the Diamond exclusives probably. But how are they going to carry the comics? Because if they're putting them on, like he said, the spinning racks, you're just destroying comics that way. So
but
I
that was such a standby of comic shops in the past. You had the spinner rack. It was just a lot smaller, the magazine spinner rack.
Yeah, but Jack says sacrilege.
Yeah.
So
It's like a lazy Susan for the cheaper titles.
Someone was saying it's Hastings 2.0. Like dude, Hastings didn't last. What makes you think that this is a good move for you? Maybe you should just stick to games. I don't know.
In the meantime, it does mean you can take peripherals, games, and these days your iPhones and your smartphones and tablets, and trade them in. Now you can just do that for comic book and get comic books.
I don't know if they're going to be buying comic books though. I know they're going to sell, but I don't know if they're going to buy and trade.
I don't think they're going to buy and
They
trade.
take trades on your games and your system peripherals.
Yeah,
your
they
phone.
pay you-
video games
they
to buy
pay you-
comics.
Terrible amounts on that.
Get how many issues can you pick up for your iPhone? Right? Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to buying my comics from Turbo Comics. That's if you're interested in that at Turbo Comics ID on Twitter. Hit them up. Max will hook you up.
Super in the
okay,
chat
if we want to
says-
support each other, fine.
Super in the chat says, I've been geeking out on Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. Son of Maku makes an excellent point. Just empty the racks filled with Wii and Xbox games for the comic books.
Yes, dude. We're going to carry PS4, Nintendo, Switch, and comic books. And pops.
Reasonable.
Jack says, this is the most hateful thing I've ever heard. Makes my soul scream in horror. So I'm going to give him something even more horrible because he's already said not to mention any more on the chat because we made a reference to it. My geeking out, as always, if you guys know me, you know I play a lot of mobile games. I've started playing Star Trek Timelines. That is a freaking fun mobile game. And
Oh, no, I don't need more.
it's done right where, like, when you first start playing it, you can play for hours on end without running out of energy or anything like that. That's how, I mean, it's still a pay-to-play game as you get longer, but I like that it makes it so that you can actually have fun with it. And the best part about it, a near and dear thing for me, is there's only one voiceover that you get explaining things that are going on in the storyline, and it's the actor that plays Q doing his Q character.
Oh,
I hadn't even heard of this, and I was hoping it was John Delancey. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that I loved, and of course, as you collect characters, you collect all the different versions of. So like I have Patrick Stewart's one of the holodeck characters where he's like got a Tommy gun, and I'm just like, okay, that's awesome. So that's all I have to say about Star Trek.
Joking.
Yeah. And that's all I'll say about Star Trek. I'll let Jack Malice's ears off the hook now. Other than that, I went out and I saw Upgrade last night, and that movie needs more attention. It is a fantastic film. I love the intricacy in the acting, and the choreography and the fights is so good. If you watch the first fight, just watch how good the choreography is, because the very first fight, while the guy's fighting because he has control of his head, not as the rest of his body, you see his hand grab his head and pull it out of the way of a swing, and I'm like, just how good they are with that choreography is awesome.
Is just so good in that movie.
It's a superhero movie from Blumhouse and the creator of Saw. How can you go wrong?
Yeah,
it's doing Venom better than Venom, I think, will do itself.
And in case you need any more like incentive to go watch this, this is directed right to you, Igor. One of the writers is Isaac Asimov. So
this is an Asimov story?
Based off one of his stories.
There you go.
What?
Right? Yes. No, nothing else needs to be said. Go watch the movie. It's great.
Yes,
nice.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
and it's original, and it's the type of movies we need in theaters to get some respect, so that we can get some more of these type of films out there.
Nice.
So, Blumhouse in general is killing it with stuff like that. I'm so happy with them just in general.
Yeah, I heard an interview with the main guy there on a different unnamed podcast, and he just seemed like a genuinely enthusiastic creator and super supportive. So I'm glad they're making good stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. I mean, Blumhouse is who's doing Spawn, right? I think as well. So maybe that gives me a little bit better hopes for that.
If just remember their last one they just put out is Truth or Dare. So I mean,
yeah, that's true. Okay, we can't have all winners.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about. Speaking of winners, I don't know how I feel about the fact that my beard seems to have replaced the Kylo Ren 2018 in the chat.
Oh, hey,
it's a good car. It's a good car. What can I say?
Okay, let's get into
awesome.
The nuts and bolts. What we're here for, coming off the Kylo Ren car. So getting into the nerd news. First and foremost, there's a little convention that happens every year that, like last year, they actually let regular people come to it, which made it way too busy and way too packed, according to Son of Maku. And it's happening again this year on next week, starting Monday. And they released their schedule, and that's E3. So the Electronic Expo.
Electronic Entertainment
Expo, yeah. So it's mainly video
elephants.
Games. Yeah. So they released their schedule. Have you guys got a chance to look at the games?
Got it pulled up right here.
You mean Fallout 76?
Yeah, Fallout 76 is on there, and which
Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah.
Yes. So
Final
what
Fantasy
do we think
76?
Hey, your stuff wasn't working last week. You could have get on the Fallout 76 conversation.
I was
Did you
stuck in
see
the
what
vault,
Fallout
man.
76 did though, where they released like a leaked gameplay came out?
Hmm.
So to show people, hey, don't be afraid. It's
I'm sure that was
okay.
accidental.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, for you guys looking at this schedule, what any games that got you interested that you're like super excited for?
I mean, we've all kind of been waiting for a Final Fantasy VII remake for like the last decade, as far as I can tell. So
Yeah.
yes, I will play the hell out of that. And I'm pretty much always going to play any Assassin's Creed that comes out. But they also have Last of Us Part 2, and I'm stoked for
Oh
that.
yes, Last of Us too. Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a hard act to follow, but I'm very interested. Very interested.
It's been long enough. I'm assuming they were kind of working on story the whole time.
Yeah, but the first one was that good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's just equaling it,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be awesome.
I know Mest will be right there with me, but the actual Sony stuff is that's what I'm most interested in. And I know we're going to see some of what we've seen last year with Marvel Spider-Man, of course, but it'll be cool to see kind of how close we are, since it'll be launching. That's in October, I believe, is the release date for Spider-Man. So it'll be cool to see kind of some of the final things they have there. They also have, that of course, Last of Us Part 2, Days Gone, and then they have some other stellar.
Devil May Cry is up to 5 now.
Stellar announcements that they haven't released what exactly that means, but Days Gone looks amazing as well. So
looking at these, so I'm gonna read off everything that's so you guys, because we're looking at a picture, you guys can't see it, so I'm gonna read off all this. So EA has Battlefield 5, which is going through a whole bunch of good things.
I blacked out for a second.
Next.
Moving on.
It's the normal stuff, right?
Yeah.
All your sports titles for
Yeah,
Anthem,
they literally have a
19.
bullet point that says other sports titles.
Other sports titles. We got Bethesda has Fallout 76, Rage 2, Prey DLC, which I love the Prey game. So new Elder Scrolls, which one person commented, it better be a new Elder Scrolls and not some other add-on content, because it'll just piss them off if that's what they do. And then a few surprises.
Have bad news. It's already been announced.
Is it just added content?
It looks gorgeous, and it's more expansion. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we need a new Elder Scrolls game, an actual game. Square Enix, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Keep putting these games out. The new Tomb Raiders have been fantastic. Kingdom Hearts 3, yay! Finally. Dragon's Quest 11, Left Alive. Dragon's Quest Builders 2. Life is Strange 2. Thank God for that. If you guys have not played the first Life is Strange, that game is amazing. Final Fantasy VII Remake and the Avengers Project, which I don't know if that's Marvel or if it's a different Avengers. Ubisoft has Assassin's Creed Odyssey, The Crew 2, The Division 2, thank God. Skull and Bones, Beyond Good and Evil 2, thank God. Transference, Starlink Battle for Atlas, and new Splinter Cell, thank God. PlayStation, we already talked about a little bit in the previous cast. Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, Marvel's Spider-Man, stellar announcements from third parties and indie devs, Dreams, Days Gone, Medieval, and Devil May Cry 5. Then we've got Xbox with Crackdown 3, new Forza Horizon, new Halo, 3 new Gears of War titles, and new Fable. If anything for Xbox, anytime a Fable title is announced is fantastic. Devolver, EITR, what is that? I don't. If somebody can tell me in the chat room. Serious Sam 4, Planet Badass, will feature real, actual game reveals and technological innovations, is what Devolver says.
Yeah, because who?
Devolver's a decent upcoming company, so Limited Run I haven't heard of, and they have details are yet to be announced, so they're going to just surprise everybody. PC Gaming Show will showcase exclusive announcements, confirmed developers including Hi-Res Studios, Stardock Entertainment, Team 17, Tripwire Interactive, and many more. And then the other one that everybody really cares about, Nintendo, Super Smash Brothers, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Mario Tennis Aces, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, yes, Star Fox Grand Prix, Octopath Traveler, and Yoshi working title. So,
love it.
of these, who do you think is going to be the best on in the show?
Death Stranding. Death Stranding.
So you think that's the best title? Who do you think actually of the developers will have the best?
Ubisoft is generally a pretty good bet.
Yeah, but then the titles that they're releasing aren't anything to. I mean, it comes down to Sony, Nintendo, and I mean, those are the two that I'm most interested in. The rest of them are eh.
I think even versus a new Fallout and finally getting the Final Fantasy VII remaster and The Last of Us 2, anybody who they give publishing rights to for Death Stranding is going to be killer, because it's as fun as it has been, just because everybody in the project has been so squirrely about not releasing details. It's a Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro video game, and everybody got a little taste of what that can be like, and who doesn't want more?
This is the craziest thing about that game, and I've got my Kojima shirt on, so if you didn't see over the the crazy thing about this video game is everything that we've seen so far looks like just cinematic, just movie portions of the game. Kojima has come out and said everything that we've seen is all playable parts of the game, and that's insane. Trailer? Yes, he said everything that's seen is playable parts.
I'm going to be enthusiastically having nightmares to this game if that's true. Okay.
Yeah. So, which is, I'm wondering how much truth is behind that, because it looks like it's too much cinematic. It can't be playable parts, but if it is, holy hell, this game is going to be amazing. So, I agree with you that I think that'll be the game but I really think that Nintendo is going to be the big one this year. I think PlayStation will be a close second, but I think Nintendo is going to be the most talked about panel. And I think when they show us Metroid Prime, that's going to break the microphones from the people cheering.
Yeah, they have Star Fox as well. Getting another Star Fox, I think, is cool. Go ahead, Igor.
Well, I was just going to say their lineup sounds super solid, but I think with the exception of Metroid Prime 4, it really is just a Nintendo knows what will sell, and there's going to be a lot of talk. But honestly, I think several of the others are going to generate way more buzz. Maybe the Metroid Prime 4
properties.
Yeah. I mean, I think Nintendo might get like a solid second or third place in generating buzz, because Metroid Prime 4 and footnote to that, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon equals, yes, we will take your money. Thank you, adoring public. But honestly, with the Final Fantasy, just what I would call the big three, at least, the Final Fantasy, the Fallout, and the and Death Stranding alone.
Well,
honestly, I think Death Stranding Last of Us might get like
it's Sony
fourth place, somewhere around there. But yeah, I think there's a lot more just things people have been chatting and jonesing really hard for than Metroid Prime 4. Maybe by a small margin. For that one in particular. But I think we're going to see them get beat out.
So as everybody knows, my enunciations aren't fantastic, and the chat room is having very much fun with this, and saying that if you have the opportunity to subscribe to the channel, click that subscribe button up there and subscribe to the channel so that we can get some money to give me court classes to talk gooder, as they say in the chat room. And I say Hooked on Phonics worked for me. Sonamaku says PlayStation is winning Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Last of Us 2. So I agree with that.
Spider-Man, Fallout. I mean, there's so many great titles that were coming.
We've been waiting for a good Metroid Prime game again, or a good Metroid game for so long again.
Hey, Xbox is doing another trilogy of Gears of War, so.
Well, why not? It's their
it's huge.
It's huge. Yeah, it's overpowered Halo, and I like how Fable's the last little thing mentioned there, but Fable is a fantastic game series for Xbox.
I remember that.
I just didn't realize people were still playing Xbox. People in the dark ages.
Red Me Paw says, does anybody remember a game called The Incredible Machine? I think that was the one where you had to actually put things together to solve getting a ball from one place to another. So it was kind of a cool game. Yeah, it was like a mouse. It was like Mousetrap. Yeah.
It was just hanging out with Rube Goldberg.
So, are there any games in this list that you think are going to be duds, and why are you even showing it to us?
There's enough of them that I haven't even heard of that I couldn't.
Yeah.
EA's games will succeed because they have the money to make them succeed. So I can't really argue against them.
And people will generally buy the same sports titles year over year just for updated rosters.
Yeah,
I'm always a little bit hesitant to buy a Marvel game. I know.
That Spider-Man game looks dope, though.
Does it? Okay.
Oh yeah. They demoed some of the gameplay last year, and you can check out a lot of it online. It's basically open world Spider-Man.
Okay, cool.
I'm
Does
thinking
it feel like Infamous?
Like the Arkham Knight, Arkham City genre, but with Spider-Man. And
well, then I'm in. Yeah,
it's fantastic. It looks great.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm buying it the day it comes out, so it's I got my money already.
I wonder if the web.
Oh yeah, hey,
What do you say?
Watch it. There you go.
I wonder if the web swinging is going to be physics based, like the still beloved Spider-Man 2 was, because while the rest didn't age well, web swinging in that is still great, and that's exactly what it was. You actually had to plan for the angles of every turn in your web, and that made for a lot of fun.
Nice. So I mean, I will have my eyes glued to YouTube because that's usually where I'm able to watch it from on Monday to start watching these different things, because I wanted to go to the convention, but a $255 ticket was just a little too much. And now if you go and try and buy your ticket at the door, it's $1,000. So you really want to go to E3, it's a chunk of change.
Well, as for showmanship, at the very least, you're probably only going to really get that hardcore from Sony, if the last few years are any indication. So yeah, just watch that part online, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. Well, I also like to watch to see what are going to be the oh my god, what the heck is going on the stage moments, because they do have those every once in a while at E3 where it's just like, this makes absolutely no sense. Some weird person dressed in some odd outfit running around and dancing or something.
The dancing tomato again from that thing was hot.
Hey, that thing got us a lot of views on YouTube.
Thousands of views.
I love those dancing tomatoes. Give us an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes game. And next year we may see another company coming into the fold of E3, because Bad Robot Gaming is coming. So J.J. Abrams' company. To which the only thing I could say to that is I want to see Bad Robot partner up with Kojima to make a game and see what the heck comes out of the minds of those two together.
So much lens flare.
Yeah, exactly. But let's move on to our other major topic for this week. Game of Thrones. So it's been pretty dead on what's going on with Game of Thrones because they pushed it back, and we have Westworld going on, but we still don't have Game of Thrones last season until next year.
April 2019.
I think so. I think that's when it is. So what do you do to fill the void while trying to think of things to talk about for Game of Thrones?
Place your bets.
Exactly. You let companies create actual odds of who is going to be on the Iron Throne at the end of the season.
I usually just Hodor.
He didn't make the list, unfortunately.
Yeah. So let me get this popped up here. Where'd it go? Unless you guys have the odds in front of you.
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay,
yeah. Danny and John are both at 2-1. Bran Stark is at 3.5-1. The Night King is in fourth place at 10-1. Tyrion at 12.5. Cersei and Jaime at 15.
Wait, I love that Tyrion has a half in there.
Oh, Sansa at 25, Arya at 40, Euron Greyjoy at 50, Varys and Gendry and Samwell all at 75, and pretty much everybody else is at like 100 to 1 or worse. Then with one special exception is the Mountain, who's at 150 to 1 because he's basically dead already.
Where was Cersei at in that list?
Cersei is at 15 to 1, just after Tyrion.
Okay. Thought
And right before Seabiscuit.
Oh, right before Seabiscuit.
Yeah, this
Triple crown.
it was the odds makers Bovada that gave out these odds. So
I like it.
Beacon, you made a comment in the writers chat before, and I'm totally on board with you.
Yeah, let's all gather our money together and put that money on Gendry because 75 to 1 odds, man. $10 pays 750, right? Is that how that works? Yeah.
Like that. So if let's ask this, because we've already said this isn't going to happen, but let's ask this: if the Reddit theory that went that Bran is the Night King and he ends up on the throne, then how does that work?
Then you get 13.5 to 1, I guess.
I think it depends on what form is taken when he gets on the throne. Maybe that. Is it young Bran that sits on the throne?
Yeah, or is
it the actual Night King? I think that's probably they would go down to that type of. I mean, we were talking about a casino, man. They're come on, they're gonna try to hold their money as best as possible.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even in that little article, like it reads the rules out to you, like blah blah blah. It's depending on what does it say? The winner will be the confirmed king or queen of the Andals and the First Men. If there is no king or queen, whoever rules or controls King's Landing at the time will be deemed the winner. like they're setting up the rules for a boxing match or something.
Wait, like what if Jon and Daenerys decide to rule together? No, which is a huge possibility.
What if Tyrion really is the third head of the dragon? That would be awesome. All three of them.
What if all three of them rule together? Then what? Then nobody. All bets are off.
Can you bet a trifecta?
I don't like Bovada will like us asking these questions and throwing in wrenches into their
trifecta. I love it.
Yeah, bet the trifecta.
I think Super Hoovian nailed it. It's going to be Bran until the last second, at which she will reveal herself to have been Arya Stark the entire time.
Nice.
Oh man.
Oh, so based off of these odds, do you have somebody? You said Gendry would be a good one.
If I was betting, I was.
We're not betting, but off these odds, is there somebody that you guys would take on the chances of ending up on the throne?
I mean, who we believe will, or just if you were betting? Because those are two different things to me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't always bet your beliefs, especially if you're a sports person.
Off the odds that they're giving you.
I would be willing to bet Tyrion. It's only 12.5 to 1, but I think he's got the best chance out of the non-Starks or Targaryens.
That's that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And obviously Jaime stands a chance, a decent chance. That's 15 to 1 odds, right? I mean, that's decent betting numbers, but I think it's going to either be Jon or Daenerys. But
yeah, me too.
I think so too.
I'm going with the numbers there.
If I was going to go numbers, and the people that I'd like to see end up on the Iron Throne the most, I would go with the 100 to 1 odds of Tormund or Davos.
Tormund. Oh god, that'd be awesome. Maybe it would be Tormund and Bran of Tarth just together on the throne. Yeah. Make that happen.
That is a lot of band-aids.
The odds and what you guys are bringing up here, I think we mash them both together and we're onto something. I don't think it's very likely we're going to see Jon and Daenerys, but I do think that a very, very Game of Thrones thing would be to see both of them headed exactly that direction, and one of them either completely giving up or getting flat out killed and being replaced by one of the other folks, but it's still being one half of that pair, siding up with someone else.
Just from your phrasing there, I now want to see a very Game of Thrones Christmas.
Do it like the family reunion for the Wookiees and the Star Wars Christmas.
Jack Malice
That's
says it
just
should be
inappropriate.
Ghost. Jack Malice says Ghost should take the throne.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I got Whiskey Gamer. Welcome Whiskey Gamer to the chat room with Random White Walker. We'll get it.
Yeah. Random White Walker number 5.
It's like a red shirt. Oh wait, no more Star
I
Trek.
like Davos. I rule the Iron Throne.
with no fingers.
Jack Malice says it would be a very red Christmas.
Oh, yes. Well played, sir. Well played.
Snoopy's
Very
house
well
didn't
played.
start out red.
Oh.
So if you guys are watching this on YouTube later, youtube.com/C/MaliceCorp, leave a comment below letting us know who you would choose based off of the odds. We are not condoning going and betting, but just who you'd choose based off the odds. I'll leave a link to the article below as well so that you can go see all of the odds. And as always, with this cast, go visit our website, malice-corp.com. You can see it written right there below on the screen. We have all of our podcasts over there that you can actually listen to, or you can look them up on Stitcher and iTunes. But it's a nice place to go to keep the conversation going and to see more things having to do with all things nerd. So, my shameless plug there.
Baku says the throne would be destroyed from all the lovemaking of Tormund and Brienne.
I need an adult.
Jack says the odds are never in your favor in Game of Thrones.
I mean, yeah. But that's why Gandry is such a man. That is, like I said, man, if you are going to bet, to me, that's where you put your money. It's only a 10 spot, you know.
Yeah.
That's a payoff and a good chance. I mean, he's got a rightful claim to it. So
I like that bet, especially odds wise. I just wonder how many people would have to die before they would fight against him being put up there. Because you know that Danny's not going to let that happen. A Baratheon? No.
Yeah.
And then the Lannisters, not big fans of him either.
He's not a Baratheon, he's a stone, but
yeah.
Well, remember, this is Game of Thrones, so
they call the people born
Waters.
Masters of the Rivers. No, that's
Waters. Is it because of Blackwater? I don't remember.
Blackwater. I don't know.
In all seriousness, this is Game of Thrones, so never take any thought or statement that includes how many people would have to die for.
Yeah, and that's
lightly.
The last 2 episodes could just be wholesale slaughter, and Gendry's the only one left standing. That would work.
He's like, what do I do now?
That sounds like a Terry Gilliam ending, and I'm okay with that.
Jeez, I could see Arya escorting him too.
He just wanders sadly off the battlefield, holding his bull helmet in one hand, dragging a hammer with the other.
Hot pie. Hey, what's the odds of hot pie?
Well, we're just going off of the Whiskey Gamer says, a dragon should get the throne. Come on, it's a dragon. just knock the throne out of the way.
Gosh, that's
Jack Malice says Tormund's first decree would be all men must have huge, sexy beards. This chat room is having so much fun right now. So this is why you guys should be here live, 8 p.m. every Friday Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, talking all things nerd with us. So let's get on to the next story so this doesn't take up all the time that's left here. There's some big shakeups going on with nerd culture-centric movies and television and stuff like that. The first one is a grain of salt rumor that's going around, and that is that Kathleen Kennedy, as of September, will be stepping down from running LucasFilms. It came from a fan site called Dork Side of the Force, shared from this newsletter that came from the Ankler, that while she's worked wonders relaunching this property from the abyss of the Lucas prequel trilogy and turning it into a bigger than ever all-devouring culture force, there's been more than some thought that it's time for new blood at the helm. The talk out there is of a September changing of the guard. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is just Reddit fans starting up a terrible thing in rumors, or do you think there could be some truth to this?
Let me just say real quick to start that Reddit's been pretty good about dropping news lately.
True.
If you've been in the sports world, before ESPN can drop news. So,
actually, a lot of news, really. Sports, video games, movies would not be hard, I imagine.
Yeah,
I
and
would
this
not-
this one came from. I'm just saying Reddit to throw them under the bus, but it came from this. The rumor came from a subscription newsletter called The Ankler, which costs $45 a year. So it's something you're paying to get this information. So that doesn't always mean something, because I'm sure there's people that have subscriptions to the National Enquirer, and we know that there's nothing true in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to find out that there's a seed of truth in it. I would just think it'd be a bad idea. She's made them like $4.5 billion over the last 10 years.
Yeah, something like that.
And
4.5
I mean, just
billion at the box office.
look at the woman's resume. When she started as a producer,
So why don't you rattle off the first 10 movies?
8 out of the first 10 movies that she produced: Poltergeist, E.T., Twilight Zone, Temple of Doom, Gremlins, The Goonies, Color Purple, Back to the Future, and then just moving into like Empire of the Sun, Inner Space, Battery Not Included, Roger Rabbit. There's the woman is a hit machine.
Yes.
It's like half of all my favorite movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she got that seat in the first place because when Lucas was selling, that was his recommendation for who to run Lucasfilms, was that this is the person that knows how to make this successful. This is the person that knows just from inner workings previously with Lucas and with Spielberg on these properties. And so she was the perfect person for the job. The reason these rumors come about is, and I'm going to let Beacon go a little crazy on this one, but Solo has not done well in its opening at the box office. They're right now saying it's an $80 million loss for Disney, which is huge. Because the company cares about money, especially when a company's trying to put up billions of dollars to buy another company, so they don't want to lose money anywhere else that they can.
And in that same note, the movie's been out for just over 2 weeks. It's grossed 160 million domestic, 115 foreign, so $276 million, $250 million worldwide in just about 2 weeks. And while that ranks like somewhere like 10th in Star Wars movies, that's a lot of money. That is nothing to like be ashamed of when it comes to making money off of a film that, to be quite honest, you have a lot of people that probably aren't excited to see it, because you still have people mad about Force Awakens and losing Han to begin with, and now you have a movie that isn't Harrison Ford, but it's about Han. There is some, I don't want to say controversial with the movie, but there's definitely some angst with maybe Star Wars fans, but it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. I liked watching. In fact, if you want to listen to our Quest episode 8, which will be dropping soon, we talk all about it. Me, Matt, and Mest. And if this is the reason why they're asking her to step down, or why she's thinking to step down, it's a dumb reason. It's not a good enough reason with her resume and what she's done. There's no reason for her to step away, and I think it's a very bad move on Disney's part if that's what happens.
Anybody else's thoughts?
I actually caught on Twitter Ryan Johnson saying that the majority of fans that he's talked to and heard from across the venues are extremely supportive and are still saying, yeah, Star Wars, and that he's heard people who are detracting the way things are, but while they may be vocal, that as far as he's ever seen, they're in a vast minority. And honestly, yeah, I have to agree with everybody else. This seems like it'd be just, to use the old phrase, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It'd be just way overkill for what could easily be a minor problem for the juggernaut that Star Wars is.
Yeah. I think that nobody I know that's seen Solo has said anything really bad about it. Like Beacon just said, it's a really good movie. I think it's just that we might be reaching a little bit of Star Wars saturation right now.
Yeah. I mean, problems, sure, but franchise killing ones or job killing ones?
Oh, no.
I highly doubt.
Well, and like Beacon just said, 287 million so far in like a month? That's probably not even counting merchandising and all that stuff.
That was as of like yesterday or the day before, so it's not even going to count this weekend's gross, which should be decent.
Yeah, so they're gonna make their money back.
Yeah. I like what Whiskey Gamer says. He says, doesn't matter how good Kathleen Kennedy is or how good anyone is, people will be upset. Some people feel that being a fan means everything needs to be always catered to them. Definitely agree with that. And then he goes on to say, like, he didn't love Infinity War, but that doesn't mean he's writing off Marvel for good, you know?
Mhm.
So totally agree with that. Not every Star Wars, I love Star Wars. You guys know that. Not every Star Wars movie can be Rogue One. Not every Star Wars movie can be New Hope or Empire Strikes Back. You're gonna have some that aren't great. Episode 1 and 2. It's gonna happen.
Oh, Ewok movie.
Hey, I own that on DVD still.
Ewok Christmas, whatever. Yeah, you know,
Both the Ewok films.
terrible.
There are
Those are
some
so
that are
weird.
so bad they just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
A moment of silence for the Christmas special.
Never happened.
Yeah, if I close my ear, think hard enough, maybe it never happened.
8-minute Wookiee scene. Come on.
What do you guys think about what Red Meepaw says in the chat room? She says, could it be that Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas have lost their relevance? I don't think so.
I think Lucas has.
Ooh. Hey, well, his last movie wasn't that great. Talking about you, Ready Player One.
I still haven't seen it.
Shots fired.
So, yeah, and I don't know.
Quick
I-
aside, Mr.
I
Mist.
think what will come with this is we'll find out what really happened with the directors for the problems that have happened, because the Lord and Miller getting fired from Solo, the issues that they had with Josh Trank when he was trying to put together a Boba Fett film that was supposed to be going on around the same time that they were doing Rogue One.
Not allowing
And-
JJ to just do all three of the.
Well, he didn't want to do all three. He just wanted to do
I'm just saying.
and then the Colin Trevorrow issue with Star Wars 9 and JJ coming back, and there hasn't been any of anybody going, I just can't work with her because she rules with an iron fist type of thing. Everybody's been like, no, it's been mutual and and there's always, but it's always been like Lucasfilm found an issue with these directors that wasn't working with what they were looking for.
And what's funny is the parts of that we believe, Mess and I believe, that Lord and Miller were part of, to be honest, are parts of the movie that I did not like.
I agree.
So it's like, maybe it was a good choice. Maybe she made the right decision in what she did.
Well, this is a big question.
But,
If truly she is leaving in September, what do you think this means for Rian Johnson's trilogy that he's working on, for Benioff and Weiss's series that they're doing? For the Boba Fett Obi-Wan, do they still move forward like they were planning, or could there be, if it's Disney axing her, do you think there could be some loyalty where people are like, well, I'm not going to work on that project now that she's gone?
I think if behind the scenes things are actually that bad without us really realizing it, it would at best be a massive rescheduling, and that's best case scenario. And I mean like a year or two or more pushback sort of thing. Like that's good scenario if all the folks involved have judged it to be at that level.
Yeah, they probably don't want to stop the money train while it's still rolling.
Well, Disney, of course, does not. They still need to make up everything. They still haven't made up how much they spent on. They're making money back, but they haven't made what they spent. Lucas is sitting there laughing in his little corner. So, but yeah, I mean, I would hope that if she's not in charge, she's still a consultant in some form. So that they don't lose those connections that they've been setting up for the streaming service and things like that. I hope that she's not leaving. I think she needs, at least it needs to be like Feige with Marvel. He's gonna be leaving soon. He's pretty much dropped little hints here and there that he's getting to the point that he wanted to do with this universe, and it's time for somebody else to start kind of creating their own thing with it.
But that's also with that point you just made. Like, I'm sure that there's a succession plan in place for that. Whereas this is just coming out of the blue, unless this is them trying to drop a note that, hey, we're going to start to make a transition. But if that's the case, you know, who's going to step up and take that gig? Like I like what Super said. She was like, I wouldn't want that job. Like, no matter how good you are or what you do, like, you're in that type of spotlight. It's got to be one of the hardest jobs in Hollywood, I would think, is having the responsibility of putting on.
It was Whiskey that said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, sorry, my bad. They both have blue.
I know.
Sorry, Whiskey. That's Jaylee. You own that comment. That was great.
Yeah.
Totally with that.
Yeah. I feel like everything I know about the inner workings of studios comes from dumb TV shows depicting the inner workings of studios, where it seems like they're entirely cutthroat with each other at all times. But I've also heard about things where, like, you know, the head of some studio had a passion project that they were working on, and then they got fired or left or whatever, and basically that project just goes to development hell for 3 to 5 years and then gets completely abandoned. But I don't think that kind of thing would happen with this particular universe or that particular company. I feel like there's got to be like some sort of succession flow chart in place at all times, you know? Something that big?
Like,
yeah, what makes you wonder is getting, because going back to what Beacon said about Solo is actually a much better film than it got slack for at the beginning, and what it's getting in terms of viewership. It is an enjoyable film. It is a good time. You will have fun watching it. Is it the best Star Wars film ever? No, but what it looks to achieve, it achieves well. And I think part of that has to do with having that saving grace of Ron Howard to come and pick up the pieces of what Lord and Miller were putting together. And I wonder how much of that was, you know, the history of the type of films that Kathleen Kennedy has worked with Spielberg, that Howard looked up to and stuff like that. Just going, hey, we need you to come on board and direct. Will you do that? Because Kathleen Kennedy was calling him. If it's somebody that's sitting behind her waiting to take the throne, Game of Thrones reference back, would that same thing happen, or would we be getting some other more of a no-name director coming and taking over, kind of a la Ant-Man, where when they had their issues, it went from Edgar Wright, who was a well-known name, to I can't remember the director's name, but he wasn't very known, and so people were very, very scared of the person taking over Ant-Man.
I know it wasn't exactly like multi-million dollars, but as many people still remember Mystery Men fondly. Remember that with Ben Stiller? Great
Love that
premiere.
movie.
Yeah. You want to know what that director was doing before Mystery Men?
Commercial?
He had a Taco Bell.
Oh,
literally.
Carlos?
Music videos and music videos and that ad campaign for Taco
Okay.
Bell. No movies, no TV shows whatsoever. Big directing debut was a feature film.
Nice.
Moving along with that, we're going to go back, staying on the same topic, because Kathleen Kennedy, this is a rumor. With this one, this is a for sure, this is happening. Diane Nelson is the president of DC Entertainment for the last 22 years. She's leaving the company. This is the woman that brought Harry Potter to the big screen, making a relationship with J.K. Rowling to get Harry Potter on into movies for Warner Brothers and stuff. She's done a lot of work with the fantastic animated features that we've gotten from DC, which I know Sonamaku loves. Majority of those outside of Batman Ninja. But do you think this is a good thing? Because we've been wanting... Here's the biggest thing. So the DC Universe had a lot of issues, lots of issues with the movies that have been coming out for DC Universe, except for one, which was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has done exceptionally well. It's what we wanted from the DC Universe. She had a part to play in Wonder Woman getting made, not so much the rest of the films. So that being heard, do you think it's bad that she's stepping away, or do you think it's time, 22 years in, it's time for new blood to come in and hopefully recorrect how the DC Universe is going at this point?
One of the most common things among fans... Sorry, go ahead. One of the most common things among fans is Marvel is killing it in the cinema, and DC crushes it in the animation. And she was huge not only for getting Harry Potter
TV.
made, but yeah, exactly. Especially nowadays with the live action TV too. getting a little bit, just a tiny bit of love, tiny bit. But yeah, she was instrumental in that too. So it seems less like it seems less like she was any kind of bad influence ever, really. And I mean bad of any kind.
Well, according to the article, she'd been on leave dealing with family or personal issues since March. So
yeah.
I wonder if there's actually something going on with her family, or if she's just like, hey, look how much.
This isn't her being pushed out. She's she's stepping down of her own accord. So it's not like the rumor that's going on with Kathleen Kennedy that they're like moving her out as of September.
Yeah, well, and at first I thought she just went, look, I've been I helped bring Harry Potter to the world. I'm freaking rich. I'm spending this time with my family. I think I might just take some time off and spend time with my family. But then later in the article, she's like, I can't wait to see what the next phase of my professional career brings. So I'm confused.
I think you actually hit the nail on the head with the first part, though. I think maybe it is just, it isn't, a necessity from DC or Warner's side. It's more just I've been doing this for 22 years. I got to do something new. And that does happen to everybody. Maybe not 22 years, but
Yeah, that's as close to a gold watch as you get in that field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, she was the one that underneath her tenure was able to get Neil Gaiman to come back to the company, which is huge, and pull John Romita Jr. over to the company, which is huge. Anytime you're pulling a Romita from Marvel, that's like pulling Stan Lee away from Marvel originally. So, yeah. So I think it sucks to see her go, because she has brought so much great stuff to helping DC Entertainment. But at the same time, like you guys said, with her being 22 years of with the company, I think it's a perfect time to have somebody come in and see if they can fix the problems that we see with like Justice League and Superman and Suicide Squad. Because I want those fixed. Because when I see articles like Jared Leto's getting his own Joker film, that doesn't show me that they're fixing things. It means more worse stuff is coming. In my own opinion.
Well, your opinion
seconded.
Scared.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on Kathleen Kennedy, on Diane leaving. There's lots more stuff we want to talk about. We just ran out of time for this week, but we are here every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, twitch.tv/MaliceCorp. Come join in the conversation live. It was a great conversation had this week. I could have probably sat here for an hour and just read what was going on in the chat room, because it was a really, really good chat room going on this week. So appreciate all you guys coming in and giving us your thoughts. And that's what we're here for. It's so that everybody has a voice to talk about all things nerd with everybody that likes all the stuff we're talking about. And if you don't like it, then awesome. Drop why. We love having debates. So with that, as always, if you have a drought from MaliceCast and you want to see other great topics on the All Things Nerd front, check out all of our podcasts. Comics for All, you can find on Twitter at All for Comics. Look them up on Twitch and on iTunes and Stitcher. Quest for 100, MaliceCorp Smack Talk, and I'm sure you guys will know the other ones.
TV Talks, yeah.
MaliceCast TV Talks. That's when we talk about what's going on with TV shows on the after shows. All these are on YouTube. Not all of them are on YouTube, but there's YouTube ones and there's ones on Stitch. God, I'm blanking, guys.
iTunes and Stitcher, guys.
iTunes and Stitcher. Sorry. Let's talk about where we can follow everybody before I keep talking myself into a hole.
We'll make sure Mest is okay. Just go to iTunes and Stitcher. We get him. That's all right.
Yes.
Beacon, where can we follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Beacon_MaliceCorp on Twitter or PlayStation Network if you want to do some monster hunting with me. Still playing the game. I'm almost 300 hours in, so it's still paying off. It's a great game. I want to give some love to the chat room, though, with Redmi Pa, Whiskey Gamer, Marley Ba, Son of Maku, Super Hoovian, and Jack Malice. Just great chat tonight. Amazing what happens in the chat room. Super on point with your comments. Wish we could read them all. We could literally read this chat room right here, and it would be an awesome, amazing show. So you guys did fantastic. Just want to also give give you guys the invitation to join us next week, same time, same channel, different flavor, as you'll get a little taste of the Quest for 100 with the Big Papa Matt and myself, giving you a little Quest love.
Not the
Quest
rapper.
love.
Different Quest love.
Ew,
That'd be an awesome guest special guest. Come on.
Drummer.
We got the special guest Questlove coming.
Yes, Quest love.
We got a bunch of people coming in going, who the heck are these two white guys? That's not Questlove.
I don't think any of us can use a hair pick.
Yeah. And Igor, where can we follow you?
Harris_Doubleton on PlayStation Network. You've got, and also twitch.tv, and also Comics for All podcast, which also translates to all for Comics on Twitter, and flipcomicsforall@gmail.com. And I would say a couple of lovely guys to follow that are not affiliated with us, superfogies.com or superfogies on Webtoon, if you might be getting Marvel saturated, but would love to see something about some retired superheroes and what they do with their time. Highly recommended.
And welcome SYL Barefoot at the end of the cast saying that we need more Nick Cage on the show ASAP.
It wouldn't be a MaliceCast if Nick Cage's name doesn't.
And as always, anytime that you guys are cheering us, thank you so much. Whiskey Game 805, thank you for the 100 cheer. That's awesome. We appreciate that greatly.
Thank you, Whiskey.
IC Zora, where can we follow you?
At IC Zora on Twitch and Instagram. I was actually going to point out the fact that we hadn't had any Nick Cage talk in the chat, but too late.
Somebody will come in and throw it in. So.
Hey, leave it up for those Nerd Mosh Pit people to jump in with some Nick Cage. Hey, SYL Barefoot, thanks for that subscription to Twitch from Twitch Prime. We appreciate that as well. And guys, definitely make sure you're listening to the Nerd Mosh Pit. You can check them out on Twitter at Nerd Mosh Pit. You can follow all of our audio casts at Stitcher or iTunes. Make sure you give us those 5-star reviews. We love them. We love you guys. Thanks for a great show.
My stroke is hitting somebody else. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at @mest_MaliceCorp. As always, head over to our website, malice-corp.com. All of our information for everything is over there. And make sure to hit that Amazon link if you're over there. If you're purchasing anything, it helps us out. You still get your stuff, and we greatly appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us this week. We will see you again next Friday, and you guys keep nerding on.
Stay nerdy out there.
Carry on.